Okay, today we're going to talk about networking. But don't go away. Stop. Don't let me lose you 2 seconds into the podcast. This is so good. We're going to make the argument for why everybody needs to build a network, how you can make networking easier. When I say that word, does it make you think of some cheesy event where you're shaking hands and people are phony baloney and everyone's kind of a little bit braggadocious and you feel like a cheese ball? Yes, me too. That's exactly how I feel about networking. I don't like the word. If you tell me, hey, Colleen, you're going to go to this networking event, oh my gosh, it sounds miserable to me. My guest today is so good at networking. He's so incredibly well connected and as a result has experienced so much fullness and richness in his life. And he does this with authenticity and a sincerity that I find beautiful. Todd Buelow, who's been a friend of mine for many, many years, more than 20 years. He's an entrepreneur. He's the co-founder of Dualboot, and he's the best networker I know. He's great at connecting with people. He's great at connecting people with other people to really create wonderful things and to help others and to lift people up. We all need to be doing this, even if right now you feel so secure in your job, or right now you're staying home and taking care of children and you think, why do I need to network? All the more reason why you do. You're planting these seeds now, not knowing what you will need in the future. And there is a way to do this without being cheesy or gross or needy or desperate. Okay, so Todd is going to walk us through all of that. You're in for a fantastic conversation. Welcome, Todd Buelow. 3, 2, 1. Hi, I'm Colleen Odegaard. One day, I was an Emmy Award-winning television journalist, married to the love of my life, and had 2 beautiful children living under my roof. Then one day, I woke up to a life I didn't recognize. Divorced, in a career transition, with my 2 boys grown and out of the house. I had to get really comfortable being alone really fast, or I was gonna lose my shit. This podcast is about reinventing yourself in a new season of life, getting to know yourself again, and having more peace, more love, more levity. This is Wake Up to Your Life. Todd Buelow, welcome to the Wake Up to Your Life podcast.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm excited to be here. We've talked about so much already. That can't be on air.
We did. Yes, I would love to give you all the pre-show, but here you are in the flesh. I'm glad that you're doing this podcast. I listened to an episode of a podcast where Jordan Harbinger was the guest, and he talked about the importance of networking and how to network and not be a douchebag about it, and how not to be a jerk about networking. And I instantly thought of you, not because of the douchebag thing, but because of how well connected you are in the world, both, professionally and personally, and how you've really created this network. So I don't want people to be turned off by the word networking. I know a lot of people hear it and they go, oh God, I'd rather do anything than go to a networking event. Before we get into how you define networking, can you tell just a couple of stories or some examples, things you've been able to do because of your vast network that you have created?
For me, on the nonprofit side has been a big thing. A lot of people want to get involved in nonprofits. They're not sure how to do it. So for me personally, we've had a challenge in our family where we lost someone with substance abuse, my wife's brother. And I had the strong conviction of I want to do something so that other families don't have to go through this. So I joined a board in Charlotte called the Charlotte Rescue Mission. And I saw the challenge they had was they couldn't find people to kind of grasp or get connected in the organization. So I was like, I'm just going to go meet with people, give them tours of the Charlotte Rescue Mission. And it was eye-opening for me. I started bringing people through the rescue mission that I would think, hey, they're just doing this because they know me. And then all of a sudden they would start crying and there was more to the story. And through that kind of goodwill, I started really becoming better at networking because they're like, hey, Todd, I got associated as Todd's the guy that can help you with the substance abuse side of things or not. And that really started propelling my networking. I was like, wow, I can do networking for good. Oh, by the way, I have a business as well. It can help my business as well. So when I went into this type of networking approach where people talk about that, like, you're so good at networking, how do you do it? I did it because I wanted to make something better in society or better in life which also, by the way, had an opportunity to help my business as well in the community. So it was kind of a cool double thing that was happening as I was doing that. And I just started building a network unintentionally or intentionally. The way I view life is I like to walk into a room and think, how can I help you, not how can I sell you? And I think people often connect networking with selling or transactional, and I think it's the complete opposite. If you walk into a room and say, hey, how can I help you? That will serve you far longer in life. The challenge is when it will serve you, will never know. It could be 20 years from now. For example, in 1996, I had a crush on this lovely lady that was on WCNC. And here I am sitting here doing a podcast 20 years later. You never know when this is going to happen.
Oh my gosh. You were the reason I volunteered at the Charlotte Rescue Mission for the first time.
Yep.
You connected me with them all those years ago. And my family and I served in, a Thanksgiving or an Easter or something like that. And I love that organization. But you really did do that. You saw an opportunity for people to help in the community in which they live. It's a win-win for everybody.
It's a win-win.
Yeah.
And hopefully you didn't feel threatened when I did it. We didn't ask for any money. And the idea was, hey, get them involved. If they want to give, they'll give. They don't, they won't. Another cool thing at the Rescue Mission when I got on the board, the classic thing here in Charlotte, I think in Charlotte there's 16,000 nonprofits. Like that's actually a true number. There's like 16,000 nonprofits and everyone's like, we need to go to these big people, Hugh McCall, the Levines, all these names. And I said, well, why don't we think about it differently? First of all, we want to do NASCAR's big here in Charlotte. Why don't we, instead of going after the NASCAR drivers who probably get hit up for everything, who's the ones that are potentially behind the scenes doing everything? Their wives or their partners. So I ended up building a pretty good relationship or connections with the wives and the partners of the NASCAR elite, shall we call them. Ended up getting a few of them on the boards. One was a woman named Trish Mears. Her husband, Casey Mears, raced for 20 years in NASCAR. Well, guess who ended up starting to show up the Charlotte Rescue Mission? You had all the race car drivers. You had all the race car owners coming. You had the sponsors coming that wanted to support their drivers. So it's like doing a little different inflection of how you do your networking. And I think that's, as a networker or someone that likes to connect people, it's figuring out what people have in common to be able to connect them that is going to enrich their lives. If that's all I did, I would be super happy. You may never talk to me again in my life, but you will remember that connection I made. And that's kind of you were talking about the Jordan interview. That's the thing he says, like, that's the dopamine. That's the hit I get is like when I hear 10 years later, oh, you made this connection. Or in your case, oh, my family went and volunteered at the Charlotte Rescue Mission. It was amazing. Like that's what gets me motivated and excited on that front from the so-called networking, which again, a lot of people think networking is sales. It's not. I don't view it that way. And I think people can read right away when is it a transaction or is it genuine? I'll also say though, that a lot of people think that when I make a connection, is this genuine? Is this, like, I have so many people call my friends like, is this Todd Buelow guy real? Like, is this really, like, is he really going to connect me with this? And I do, and I don't ask for anything about it. It's different. People are not used to that on that front of people actually generally wanting to help someone get further along their career or on the personal side. So
approaching networking as giving, not getting, not what can I get out of this transaction, but I have something to give and to offer. That's helpful. I'll circle back to how you got to that point. But before I do, I want you to talk about how do you define networking? I mean, you know that people hear that word and go, oh, it sounds awful. I hate networking. How do you define it?
Well, for me, my wife is exactly, she hates the like, Todd, you were going to go network. This is going to be terrible. Like, I don't want to do this. And then I go and say, hey, those situations where we were in the suites at these events and things like that. That's because we were networking through the 20 years and we built a relationship.
And that's how you ended up in the suite.
In the suite. It wasn't because we just stumbled across this place and all of a sudden we're in a suite. But for me, like I said, for networking, for me, it's when I walk into a room, how can I help you? Not how can I sell you? And that's kind of the main frame, the mind frame that I've had. The other thing for me, I love people that help people get to the starting line of a race. And so I have been in situations, or I've seen situations where people can already run the race. That is less interesting to me. I like to get to the point where I can help someone run a race and get to the starting line. So it could be, for example, I'm working in an underserved community. There's someone with a brilliant entrepreneur idea there. They may not have the connections to find money or talent or things like that, but I do. I love helping people like that are in a situation that they just need a little help to get over kind of that gap or that chasm. I love helping that situation. So I don't know if I'm really answering your networking side of it, but that's for me is I just want to do good work while I'm still on this earth that will leave a legacy forever.
See,
from that standpoint.
Yes, because that, I think, Todd, comes from some soul searching somewhere, because so many people are about what's in it for me. I scratch your back, you scratch mine kind of thing. You must have done some work, though, to get to that point.
Yeah, so it's funny. So I was a late bloomer in life. In high school, I was 5'2", 110 pounds.
And now here you are,
6'3",
6'3", yeah.
I used to be about 220. I might be a little heavier than that now. But I went from the person that used to get picked on, thrown in the locker, beat up a lot of cases, to one day, I remember it was my freshman year in college, we're at a bar, and my buddy Jamie was like, "Hey, Todd, why are you letting these people pick on you? Look around." I'm like, wait, I'm the biggest guy in the room now. Like, and that was kind of a light, not that I was going to go beat up everyone, but that was a light bulb moment of like, I knew what it was like to be told that I couldn't. And I also now in this situation where I have somewhat of, I don't want to say power is not the right word, but like, I knew what it was like to have confidence.
Yes.
And so I think I've always been drawn to the side of, let me help the people that just need a little push to confidence on that side and like rally around them and build them up. I also attributed a lot to my mom, who was a nurse. She was always helping people. And I would go around town and people would be like, "Hey, do you know your mother is the most amazing person? This is what she did for me." And it wasn't even that she was helping them health-wise. It was the stuff she did she bought my groceries, or she went and did this, like this servant side of it. I was like, wow, that is amazing. Like she was notorious for this. One day she goes down to the grocery store. It's called A&P. Here would be a Kroger, Publix or whatever. And all of a sudden we have 3 of the cashiers at our house, at our pool party, because they had nothing to do on the 4th of July. And like, you see things like that. And I was like, "Mom, you're freaking crazy." But now I look back, I was like, that is an amazing, she knew that they were alone. Mm-hmm. They didn't have anything to do. They were new to the town we were in. And she invited them over. I never saw them again, but you knew that probably had an impact of them. It had an impact on me. She probably didn't realize that she had that impact.
That's a beautiful story. I love that. Okay, so for people who are listening right now and think, well, I don't need to network. I mean, I've got a good job and I'm fine. I don't need to network.
Yeah, so I would challenge most people that I say that have a good job, they are often unhappy in those jobs. And I think we talked about this earlier, and I don't think you're a big word of manifesting, but I'm a big fan of the word manifesting. I have done situations in my life where I said, this is where I want to be. I want to be at, I don't know, let's just say, I'll give you a good example. I'm a part of a nonprofit called American Football Without Barriers. We take 15 NFL players overseas every year. I wanted to it wasn't the NFL players, but I wanted to travel overseas and figured out a way to do that. At the time, I wasn't making much money, but I realized I could use the NFL players' personas to get free trips all around the world and also do what I love, which is serve in the community. So I'm like, heck, I met a player in Charlotte, a guy named Gary Barnage. He played for the Carolina Panthers. He's like, "Hey, I need help helping us travel around the world. Will you do it?" I'm like, "Sure." He's like, "Well, what?" I'm like, "Do I get anything out of it?" He's like, "You get a free trip." I was like, "Perfect." So take that over 11 years. Now I've been all around the world. I do what I love, traveling. I haven't had to pay for any of it. But now my network is now U.S. ambassadors. It's NFL players people have heard of and not heard of, but people like Marshawn Lynch, Todd Gurley, to players you've never heard of. But now I have situations where they, for example, are calling me. One of them got lost. They were in Portugal. Their passport got stolen. They called me and said, "Todd, I'm in Portugal. I don't have a passport right now. Can you help me?" I was like, "Yeah, I know the U.S. ambassador of Portugal." And in 3 hours, they had a passport, right? That's like how networking works. Like I started out selfishly of me wanting to travel around the world, and I love sports and hanging out with cool NFL players. But then now it's like they're coming back to me because they saw the value that I went on. The other thing is that I love on those trips is it's very humbling for me because no one knows what I do. So I'm like, when I'm over there, I'm like an administrative assistant. Nothing wrong with administrative assistant, but I'm probably the lowest form of things that they're seeing there. Like I'm the person like getting them pizzas and stuff like that, right? They have no idea what I do. But then we start talking and they start learning and they're like, oh my gosh, my NFL career is coming to an end. I've forgotten to network. And then everyone's like, call Todd, he'll help you out. So I've helped many of them kind of then transition from the NFL career to their next phase of life. So to your question about, I don't need to network. Why do I need to network? Those are perfect examples. You never know at what point in your life something is going to change. And if you haven't established and built relationships, it's going to be a potentially dark place that you're going to have to rely on people. We all go through the moments. People with cancer, divorce. You're part of a runners club and you hurt your leg and you can no longer run. Like whatever it may be.
Right.
If you have built authentic relationships through that time, there is someone that's going to help you along that journey that you don't even know that they know that they can help you. And so,
God, that was beautifully said. That was beautifully said. You're right, because anything can change at any point. None of us like hearing this, but it's true. Things can change in an instant, and we don't know that it's going to. You can lose your job. You can get that diagnosis. Your partner can leave you after 20 plus years.
Yeah.
Those things happen. And it's through your authentic relationships that hopefully you've cultivated. The problem is if you have not been sowing these seeds, if you've not been cultivating these relationships, when you need them, they're not there.
Exactly.
So it's taking care of them and nurturing them before you need them.
And then when you try to, if you don't have them, then it's going to feel like a transaction to people. And they're going to be like, oh, this person sounds desperate right now because they don't authentically know you what it was before.
Yes.
And many times you can't control what those nettles. You might be driving down the street and something happens in a car accident or something, and everything changes from that point forward. So back to your question, that's why I think it's important to network, is you want to build that rock or that framework behind you that when you have those life changes, it doesn't always have to be negative. It can be positive as well. You're there. You will want to support those people on that front.
Okay. So how does one go about doing this? And I'm really right now thinking about the people who are shy, the people who say, oh, I don't want to bother him. It'll be annoying. I don't want to do that. How can a person begin to explore what it's like to network?
Yeah. So for me, I've always looked at it as if I were to ask you for something, would I do the same for me back? So if I said, hey, Colleen, can you help me get onto a TV show? If you asked me the same question back, I would help you, right? So then I go into the relationship not thinking it's like a one-sided, like I'm needy or asking for something. Secondly, I always have a purpose when I'm doing it. It doesn't have to be a purpose like for me only, but there's some intentionality behind the goal of having it. So, we might be at a coffee shop. I've met so many people, by the way, coffee shops are the greatest places to meet people.
It's a great place to meet people.
Because a lot of times what I've realized in this world where you don't go in an office, people go to a coffee shop to like talk to people. They may not look like they want to talk, but we're going to talk. And what I do is when I walk into a coffee, like I've met so many cool people. We're in Matthews right now filming this at Brakeman's Coffee House. One gentleman had a Toronto Blue Jays shirt on. How often do you see a Toronto Blue Jay anywhere in the world? Never. Sorry, Toronto Blue Jay fans. But so I went up to him, I was like, Blue Jays? He's like, yeah. I was like, what do you do? He's like, oh, I pitch for the Toronto Blue Jays. I'm like, what? And so we didn't become best friends, but it's like, those are the kind of cool connections. Charlotte FC is another one. Charlotte FC is the soccer club here in Charlotte. A lot of them go in and out of Brakeman's. I became friends with a lot of the executive office because I saw this Charlotte FC hat on, and I'd be like, Charlotte FC, you guys had a great game this weekend. Do you work there? Oh yeah, I'm the president of Charlotte FC. And 3 weeks later, we're sitting in the box at the president of Charlotte FC's games. But that's like for people that don't want, like I just look for cues of things that are interesting to me that I want to learn more about. And I think that's people want to talk about themselves.
Yes, they do.
And so for the shy person, find something that's a cue. It could be I'm wearing a Donkey Kong shirt. Well, why are you wearing a Donkey Kong shirt? I used to play that in the 80s. They might not be nice to you, but most people, if they have something that they want to talk about, they will talk to you about it.
Right. I like it. You're going a little deeper there, and I like that better. Yeah. You're offering something that, you had a great game. Why a Donkey Kong shirt? You're not just leading with the obvious question.
Yes. And also, like, if you're in the business world too, the best thing you can do is try to do a little research on the people before you go. And also, as you're talking, have them, I'm talking all the time right now, but have them talk because they're going to give you little cues about their lives. So you might be like, hey, yeah, I'm going up to, North Carolina this spring to see my son. And so I'm like, all right, North Carolina. Oh, is that UNC? Yes, that's UNC. And like, Now I know, well, your son's at North Carolina, and now I've got little cues. So I might, in a couple of days, read something about Bill Belichick, blah, 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 blah. I was like, oh, Colleen, I just read about Bill Belichick. How's your son doing at North Carolina? Like
that's your reason for the follow-up.
That's the reason. Those are the follow. The follow-up is the key part of this whole process.
Okay. Well, let's talk about that.
Yes.
But first, quickly, for people who think, okay, well, that's great, Todd and all, but I actually don't have anything to offer. I'm early on in my career. Maybe it's a college student. Maybe it's somebody who's switching careers and wants to reach out to someone in another field, another industry, but they don't know how to go about doing that because they don't have experience in that. So they really do want to, quote, pick your brain, which, by the way, is not a comment I love. When I get that, hey, Colleen, I'd love to meet you for coffee and pick your brain about, it's not my favorite one. I get it. I get why people say it, but I'd like them to go a little bit further. So what would you say to those people, young people, people early in their career or switching careers? How can they go about reaching out to the people they would like to talk with?
Well, I always tell younger people on that side of if you're super uncomfortable in meeting people, go volunteer. Volunteer is the easiest way to meet people. And specifically in Charlotte, where we are, I have gotten my best networking or connections through just volunteering with people. Some commonality, it's very simple. If anyone wants to connect with me, you can give them my information. But it's the easiest way to do it. If you find a purpose that you love and you volunteer, you will meet so many people. Yeah. A lot of people do it through athletics too, like the softball leagues and things like that. But I really think volunteering, so when I first moved to Charlotte, I liked basketball, so I went and volunteered, coached at the Harris YMCA, and I coached kids that were 9th to 12th grade. They didn't make their high school team or didn't play on their high school team for whatever reason, but me and my buddy, we got to play with them and scrimmage with them. Some of the dads would come help us out. One of the dads in particular would help me out all the time. I found out later he's the head neurosurgeon for the top neurosurgeons in the country. His name's Honoree. No idea who he was. Another kid on my team, he's like, oh, I'm going to the Super Bowl this weekend. I was like, why? He's like, well, my dad's Dr. Anderson, who does all the foot things for Grant Hill and all these things. But again, that was all through volunteering of these things. And for me, it felt me good. I'm giving back to kids and stuff like that. I'm playing basketball because I love that. But then that network, those parents then remember me now. I had a situation going back to Dr. Dyer, the neurospecialist. I had a friend whose mom was going through some things. She's like, I can't find answers. There's something neurologically going wrong with my mom. So I text him. This was after 20 years. Mm-hmm. And he's like, hey, Todd, how's it going? So he remembered me spending time with his family to help out, and he was happy to make a connection to help my friend. That's the times we're talking about, those points in life that you'll never know. Mm-hmm. When I did this 20 years ago, I wasn't doing anything except for I wanted to help kids out and get some exercise. And now these relationships are fruitful all the way up to where I am now.
Oh, it's so good. That is so good. I love that.
I don't know if it's good, but I try.
No, I think it's amazing. And I hope it's encouraging people to see the benefits of creating a network and networking and being out in your community and being involved, because everyone benefits from that.
Yes.
Everyone benefits from that. And even if it's not, if someone's listening and they think, oh, well, I work from home, or maybe you're a stay-at-home mom, maybe that's the case. We still need a network.
Oh yeah. Well, it's funny. So for my wife is an entrepreneur. So I, in many cases, was a so-called stay-at-home dad. I still had a job, but she was the one that was traveling a lot. And I'd go to the pre-K things at, Carmel Wee School, and everything was around the mom, and it irritated the crap out of me. So I'm like, I'm just going to break into these mom groups. So I'd go out on the playground, and I tried to break in. And as much as I tried to break in, it never worked, except there was me and another dad out there. I had no idea who this other dad was. We'd always be swinging. Well, I just knew him as Ryan. Hey, this is Ryan. Hey, Ryan, how you doing? Swing. We talk about whatever. Well, I found out like 4 or 5 years later, I'm watching ESPN, and it's this guy, Ryan McGee, who's part of Marty and McGee, the ESPN show. I was like, Ryan, you never told me you're this. He's like, well, you never asked. I was like, well, I didn't know that.
Right.
But that was those are the types of things that you just find interest in something. With Ryan and I was sports. We didn't even talk about what we did. I was wearing a Yankees shirt at the time. He despised the Yankees. But those were how we built relationships. One of the cool things too, and I keep talking about a lot of the nonprofit and community things, but I'm a big believer, like we'll have a nonprofit event. Let's say I'm part of a board called Speedway Children's Charity. We get a table of 12 people. My goal in life is to bring 12 people together that should know each other. And so I try to bring 12 people that I know that they don't know each other. And I love that. I've done that in multiple things through nonprofits like that. I've taken them people fly fishing. So I've taken basketball coach. This is a lot around sports, but basketball coaches with like someone like Ryan McGee in sports, to an athlete that's retiring, to what we're going to do. And you bring people together as a collective whole that should know each other. And it's amazing the momentum and the excitement that happens out of that group. The other thing that has happened is I invite a lot of people to different events, and I've had people say, Todd, you're one of the only few people that I actually go with, because I know when you do it, there's intentionality, and I know the people I'm going to go with are interesting people I should know. So like this madness has come through. I think you went to an event with my wife recently.
I did. I had the best time. Had the time of my life.
And all those women were curated for her for that. She does a similar thing. Is like bringing women together that should empower and bring forth everyone on that. And
it really did. I mean, I was struck by I didn't know everyone at the table, and how much fun I had, and what connections I made that night, and it was fantastic.
Right. And now it's up to you though to take that one step further and foster those connections, which I think a lot of people don't do, is fostering the connections. And it's not that hard to foster a connection. One, I mentioned this earlier, I didn't mention it today, but earlier before we had this started, one of the things I do, and my wife calls it stalking, is let's say we're at an event.
Stalking, networking, whatever.
So we're at an event. Let's say you and I are at an event, and you have your handler over there that's like, Charlotte today, everything goes through me. I would say, hey, Colleen, can I take a picture of you with your guest over there? Sure, Todd, you can take it. I take the picture. Your guest wants the picture. You want the picture. What do I have?
You've got the picture on your phone.
Okay, so, and what am I going to do with that picture?
You're going to text it to me, and now you have my phone number.
And by the way, you have your guest phone number.
And the guest phone number too. Yes, absolutely.
So, and then if I've been listening and know different things about you, then I know at certain points when to text you about like, and you may, by the way, you may never, ever respond to the text. It's okay. It's okay. But I might say something. So for example, you got just back into Charlotte today recently. I might text you. I haven't talked to you in 15 years and be like, oh, Colleen, I just saw that you got back in Charlotte today. Congrats. That's awesome. I know how much joy that had you. That's all I may say. Mm-hmm. You may never respond back, or you may be like, hey, Todd, great to hear you. How are things going? Anything I can do to help you? Oh, Colleen, I've got this great nonprofit you need to hear about. And then there we go from that side.
Totally get it. It's it's easy. I think taking the getting in your head about it, is it going to seem creepy? Is it going to seem weird? Is it going to be obnoxious?
No.
Just if you're leading too from a place of service, I think that makes all the difference in the world.
And a compliment will always open many doors for you.
Yeah, leading with a compliment, that works too. That's smart. It's smart. And again, though, I think what I know is true about you, you really are not expecting anything in return.
Nope.
And I think that's where people get tripped up. Oh, I reached out. I sent this email. I sent a message on LinkedIn. I sent a text. I didn't hear anything. And then they stop and they give up. And then they think, oh, I don't want to bother people anymore.
Yep. And so what I tell people to that, so I say, open up your email. How many open emails do you have in there? So in my case, I probably get 300 to 400 emails a day, something like that. Some of it's spam, whatever. But like, if you sent me an email, there's a good chance I'm going to miss it. Like for you, being back in the media, how many emails do you get?
Hundreds, yes.
And so I don't think you intentionally ignore hundreds of emails a day, right? It just life happens.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is if you ever get a text, like you're at, I don't know, your son's or daughter's game or something, you get a text on the sideline, you're like, oh, I got to get back to this person. And then you just forget. Life happens, people forget. What drives me a little bit crazy is people get so offended, like that person never got back to me. I was like, well, I've sent you like an email, you never responded, or a text. Like we have to get rid of that, like over that, like offensive,ness, like because life happens, right? You don't know when the person read your text. You don't know what time they email. You don't even know if they're even reading the email. Mm-hmm. And I talk, one of the things like with marriages and things like that, love languages and things like that. It's like you have to learn the person you communicate their love language. How do they like to be communicated with? Some people are texters. Some people are Instagram, direct messages. Some people are email. Some people are, my mother and father-in-law. If you don't call them, you'll never hear from them, right? But I'll text them 1,000 things and they'll say they never got anything. I'm like, okay, we know that's not true. My kids, it's Snapchat. I haven't broken down and gone to Snapchat though. Not yet, but.
Isn't there an age limit on Snapchat or something like that?
Yes.
There ought to be.
Yeah, I think, and once you go that, it's LinkedIn now. But now all these young kids that were all you have to do on Snapchat, now they want to connect with me on LinkedIn. So
Yes,
like
they do.
I feel like, it's come back around now.
Yes, they do.
Yes.
So I think, again, building up that goodwill over the years, and like you said, it's afforded you all kinds of opportunities because you have been willing to help other people.
Yep, absolutely. Again, that goes down to listening. Listening and seeing experiences.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Listening.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just kidding.
The funny thing is, you talk to my wife, I don't listen that well, which is kind of probably true. My mind works. My mind works by like association, so it works a little differently. So anytime I hear an association, like if I put your cell phone number into my phone, I put an association. How did we meet or how do we connect? That's another way, because you'll get a lot of numbers into your phone. But if you can have like, I met Colleen, host of Charlotte Today, son goes to UNC. That anytime I might not talk to you for 10 years, but I'll remember something. Or I'll be like, I need to know someone in media. And I pull up media, and then there's the 15 people that I've met in media that I can text. So like I am big about like taking notes. And the older we get, like I forget all.
We can't remember things. We don't remember things so well.
Oh, yes.
No, it's really smart to do that. And it's not it's not contrived. And I think that's the other thing people need to get over. Well, they know he's going to know I'm only reaching out to him because I need something. Well, not if you actually care about people. And what I hear is sort of the undercurrent through all of this, Todd, is that you just have a curiosity about people and the world around you. And it's sincere. And I think people respond to that.
Yep. One of the best networking tips I can give, go to an event and find the person sitting by themselves. They are often the most confident. They have the least to actually go and brag about themselves. I was at an event probably 6 months ago. There was an older gentleman sitting there by himself. So I was like, went down, hey, can I sit down here with you for lunch? He was like, sure, no problem. Well, I started talking to him. I was like, well, what do you do? He's like, I'm an astronaut. I'm like, what? He's like, you remember when the Challenger exploded? I was the captain of the next mission after Challenger. And so I sat there and talked to this guy for 2 hours. By the way, he's sitting at a convention. No one's talking to him.
Oh my gosh.
And so at a lot of these conventions, and you've been to these events, people are trying to sell themselves. Like, how can I be popular? And usually that person sitting by themselves is the most interesting person in the room. I went to a wedding recently. Michelle, my wife, got sick. She had to go up. There's an old guy sitting in the corner. We started smoking cigars. Not that I condone smoking cigars. I was really bad at it, actually. I was just trying to be cool. Well, 4 weeks later, I'm down at his house in the Bahamas fishing with him. Because we just started talking about fishing. He's like, you need to come down to the Bahamas. I was like, sure, I'm in. But it was all because I went and talked to the person sitting them by themselves that had nothing else to prove. And I just listened to things that brought them enjoyment. We ended up having a connection because he did a lot for veterans, and I've done a lot with veterans. So I was helping a veteran kind of get a job in Charlotte. He's like, hey, I'm going to bring this veteran down. We'll try to get him a job in Charlotte. It was like the greatest week ever. I'm on this like 80-foot fishing boat on a $15 million house. And people are like, Todd, you're so lucky. How does that happen? No, I just talked to some guy at an event that my wife was sick at, and I had no one else to talk to on that front.
I love it. It's a great story. But again, I think it's leading with curiosity, authenticity, being sincere. It's doing those things.
Absolutely. Can I leave one? I don't know how
absolutely.
Another thing is when Black Lives Matter, remember the whole Black Lives Matter happened. Well, my wife and I looked around and are like, we really don't quite understand what's going on. We grew up in a situation where police were nice people. Mm-hmm. And so I had friends, or I just recently met this guy who was the basketball coach at UNC Charlotte who happened to be black. I was like, hey, can you and Tara, his wife, come over and just talk to us about this? He's like, really? You want us to come talk about it? I was like, yeah. They came over and they were very appreciative because they're like, everyone's like afraid to talk to us or what's going on. Because it was a very tension-filled time, right? They never wanted to say anything about it. Those two people have become one of our best friends now through that moment of us just trying to understand, because we didn't understand. Not that we didn't see things were happening, it just didn't understand it. Like when the town I grew up, the police officers were really nice people. I had another situation, Marshawn Lynch. Do you know who that is?
Yes, I do. Mm-hmm.
So we are in Turkey. We are going to the U.S. Embassy, and there's the U.S. military police is there. We're going to go do an event for them to thank them. He's like, I'm not going in there. I said, why are you not going in there? He goes, That's the enemy, Todd. I'm like, Marshawn, they're like protecting us. Like they're not. He's like, let me tell you about where I grew up in Oakland, California. And he went through where he grew up in Oakland, California. I was like, that really happened? He said, yeah, Todd, that really happened. I said, well, I can assure you these people are not like this, but I can see why you have that perspective now. He had friends that were killed. Not saying, again, I'm not saying police are bad, people like that, but just the mind frame of how you walk and how you need to listen to understand. And I think that's what people just want to understand, have people understand them, literally have them understand you. I mean, I can't walk, I was joking with you the other day. My daughter bought me a device that gives you period cramps, right? So I put it on and I about freaking died.
Like it goes around your waist.
And it zaps you and like it
emulates a period cramp. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I don't know what it feels like.
Well, it's what it's supposed to do.
But they're saying that it's equivalent. I thought I was going to die. But now I know, like, this is what, when certain women in my life that I love outlash at me, or, like, I know, well, maybe because it feels like someone is stabbing you in the gut right now.
Right. You have a whole new compassion for it.
Yes. And so someone once told me, I can't walk in your shoes, but I can walk alongside you. And I think that's kind of resonated in my mind along life. It's like, I don't know your perspective coming in. I will never know it. But if I can understand it, maybe I'll have a better conversation or relationship.
And that comes from being vulnerable and taking a chance on having a conversation that might feel a little uncomfortable or putting yourself out there, which is what you and Michelle did when you invited that couple over to, it's that kind of thing. Put yourselves in situations like that.
And I think when you're networking too, you get into those awkward conversations. You say something you don't mean to, and just because you don't know, and then they may be turned off or not, but it's just, you're just curious and trying to understand. And then I do sometimes a lot of backtracking because I say something dumb. So,
I never say anything dumb ever. I never make that mistake. I say dumb things all the time, all the time.
Yes.
Publicly, I get it. So again, really to kind of in summation, to like bring this home for people, there are lots of benefits to networking. Even if you're a shy, introverted person, you can still do this. People might look at you, Todd Buelow, and say, well, you're a man of privilege, you're a white male, of course you have all these connections. But to remind them, that's not how it all started for you.
No. And you know what? If you're listening to this and you are a man of white privilege and have all that, go use that for a benefit to help someone else to get to where you are. I mean, that's kind of how I would look at it. Like, God has given you this treasure, go have someone help someone else that can get there, to where you are. So like, I have 2 daughters. I've got a wife that's a woman entrepreneur. I'm a big advocate of women in business, and I'm able to do it in some cases because I am a white male that has privileges, right? So why can't I help build up the other people around them and use that as a secret weapon?
You walk the talk. You walk the talk.
Yeah,
you really do.
I
You
try.
really do. No, I really see that in you. I believe it. So again, it's lifting others, taking some chances, follow up, get out of taking things personally. If you don't hear back from somebody right away, you can try it again.
Yep.
But also think about what you have to offer. Think about what you have to offer to somebody.
Yep. And also I would say like when I've learned a lot talking to people in different industries. So for example, athletes, I could never understand why athletes don't help each other out. Like never made sense to me. But then after sitting around with a lot of them, they said, Todd, I don't want to have to owe anyone because I have so many people coming and ask me for things. It's overwhelming. And then they feel like, I don't want to feel like I have to owe someone. It's fat, but again, I've never been one of the top athletes in the world, and probably in media, it's the same thing. You probably get hit up for so many things. So if I was to meet you, I'd be like, Colleen, what's the best way to approach someone in media? You probably could tell someone the best way to approach someone in media because people are always hitting you up for something like, can you get me on the TV show? I hit you up this week to be on the TV show. So like, it always happens, right? So
yes, but you know what? I'll take that text. I'll take that call because we're friends, but we've built up that goodwill over the years because you have nurtured the relationship. You've nurtured the friendship.
Right.
That's what, it was interesting. I just went back to Charlotte today, a local TV show that I host in Charlotte on an NBC affiliate, and people who I haven't heard from in 5 years coming out of they come out of the woodwork.
Did you find a boyfriend through this show?
I haven't. You're supposed to be on that for me. That's what you're supposed to be doing for me. You're so well connected. Come on, you got all these athlete friends. Isn't one of them single? Come on, Buelow.
Well, I'm sorry.
Come on, man.
You're on TV now.
You're lacking. I should put my phone number up on the screen
up here or something. I don't know what the single sign is.
Well, but these people who have come out of the woodwork who I didn't hear from when I stopped being on television, and then when I was going through a very public divorce, and didn't hear anything from them, and now I'm back, and wouldn't it be great if we did this again, just like we did in the old days? And it feels a little. So that is the kind of networking that feels a little gross to me. It doesn't make me feel good.
I get it, but you need what's the Dory mentality? Like the 10 second, you just got to forget it and move on.
Just keep swimming. I know you're right.
Just keep swimming.
Anything else you'd like to say that I haven't asked you, or a nice way to kind of put a button on this to give people some hope as to why they should network and really just not make it so hard and gross on themselves?
Like I said, I mean, for me, the easiest way, if you are a shy person and everything, go serve in your community. No. That is the easiest thing to do. At the end of the day, if you're terrible at connecting with people, you've helped someone. So it's still a positive thing. You may not talk to anyone, right? But you've helped someone in some way that you may or may not know. So like I am a big believer of giving back in that situation. And like I said, the networking that I've done, the greatest reward I've had is not only the lives I've changed through the serving of it, but the people I've met through the process as well. Mm-hmm. So
it's really great. Todd, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. This was fantastic.
Well, thank you. It was a blast.
I'm ready to go send some texts and emails.
Let's go.
You're supposed to go find me a boyfriend.
I will attempt that.
And sponsors for my podcast. Get on it.
Amen. Amen.
Thank you so much for listening to the Wake Up to Your Life podcast. I love connecting with you, so reach out to me on Instagram at Colleen_Odegaard. My podcast is also on YouTube now, so you can leave a comment on the podcast episode and tell me what resonated with you. You can subscribe to my channel at the link in our show notes. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next episode.